What's up? It's your girl Catherine Yancey here with K.A.D.Y live on DISCO100 Radio. If you have not subscribed, of course, we want you to subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. It's very simple, easy, and it's free. But we're here today, and my guest is James Kirkland. What's up, James?
What's up, Catherine? How you doing?
I'm doing just fine.
Good.
So, Disco, what's up?
How you doing, man?
I'm great. So I'm looking at the monitor. It says staying married. So normally we talk about getting and staying married, but we're just gonna talk about staying married. Apparently,
No,
that's what's on Disco's heart today.
Yeah.
No, we gotta get married before we can stay married. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good though. So well, I mean, the focus is to figure out how to stay married because a lot of people are not succeeding in that, and there are various reasons why. So, James, you've already been on before, and you were so candid about sharing your story with us, and we appreciate your transparency and honesty. A lot of people reached out after the show, and they were like, he really held it down with giving us some insight and keeping it clean and classy for the lady, and they appreciated that.
All right.
Yeah. So what you been up to, James? You started your own little
I did.
gigs recently, and we'll give you a chance to really plug it in a minute. But I'm loving your shirt.
Appreciate you.
What's your shirt say?
It says Intellectual Stew. That's the name of my show, and my hashtag is On the Path to Better.
Absolutely. So we can get on the path to better and talking about staying and getting and staying married. Thank you, Disco, for the update. Okay, so when it comes to getting married, what are some of the things? The reason we have this show, first off, is because I believe that a lot of people get married and they get bamboozled with the truth about what marriage really is. I personally have never been married, and I think if people start to open up and share their experiences with marriage, then people have more insight as to how to get through it better. Because it's not a walk in the park, as some may want to believe, the fairy tale thing. It's actually something that you have to work at on a daily basis. Pretty much like I would suppose you have to do a business. If you don't put any work in, then it's probably not going to work. It's going to fail. So it's consistently working at something to make it work, not just expecting it and hoping and praying that it works. And I'm good with all of those things too. Y'all know I'm all about the positive. But there's some work that has to be done as well. So what do you think, James, would be something that you would have appreciated people telling you, like just being honest, before you got married about marriage?
I'm not sure if there's anything they would have told me up front. I think getting in it and once experiencing, and especially looking at it with a 20-year-old veteran eye, I suppose, I think people go into marriage with preconceived notions. I think many times we look at people who have the good marriage that's been married for 20 years. They don't realize what it took. It took 20 years of experience to get to those 20 years. You know what I'm saying? And nobody shares the bad and the ugly. All they share are the good. So when you go in and then the first time you experience a little adversity, then you want to run. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the difference in our society. Yeah, I mean, you see the fairy tale marriages on TV and grandmamas and them marriage. Some of y'all don't even. Some people don't even respect grandmamas and them marriage. They calling grandmama weak now. That really gets to me. I don't understand that one. But so with that being said, I think we think marriage is a template, and that we're just going to automatically be 20 years married without putting in, as you say, the work. You know?
And I think that sometimes people think success of marriage is how long you've been married. And there are many people who have been married for prolonged periods of time in an unhappy marriage. So I don't think that we should be promoting just the time put in for marriage as opposed to actually having healthy marriages, because I think that is detrimental as well when people think that they have to, just save face per se to say I stayed, but what do you do to stay in a healthy place where you're progressing and you're growing and you're, able to give from your place of experience to help other people to get to and through as
and that's the key. That's the key. Like you said, if you find yourself in an unhealthy place, at that point you got alternatives. Do I run and get out, or do I go get help? Now, in communal, we that came from Africa, we lived in communal societies, right? So in communal societies, if there was a problem in the marriage, then all of those people went to the what? The elders. And then the elders taught them how to be married. We don't do that no more.
No, we don't.
No, we you know, our happiness, watch this. Our happiness is based on happenings. And if things aren't happening right in my house right now, then I'm not happy. If I'm affected by the money, if I'm affected by, you know, some other external circumstances, then that affects my happiness. And if I'm unhappy, I'm out.
Well, even to go a step beyond that, if happiness is dependent on anything outside of you and God, then it has variables that are outside of your control.
That would be perfect in a perfect world scenario, though. But how many people think like that, though? Me and you think like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. There has to be an internal development where you are not codependent on someone else or something else for happiness. Happiness is a personal decision, first off. And it is, in my experience, even able to be a steady state in turmoil only with the God presence.
I hear you, but let's explore that codependent aspect.
Go ahead.
In marriage, are you really codependent? I mean, shouldn't you be codependent if the two became one? Really?
No, if you're not totally whole before you get married, then you're dependent on somebody to give you something you couldn't even give yourself. Yeah. And I think that is the issue that some people have when they are not providing their own happiness.
Well,
and then I can only be happy if you're doing A, B, C, and D. It should not be that way. You should be happy regardless if somebody is doing the A, B, C, or D. And not that they make you happy. They can take away from your happiness if they're not doing whatever, you know, you feel is needed to be healthy. But I don't think that they should be able to determine your happiness.
And that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
Augustine would challenge your theory from the standpoint. He said that, and he kind of described life like being a 1,000-piece puzzle, right?
Okay.
And if you're given a 1,000-piece puzzle, and now some would believe that you're given of this 1,000-piece puzzle, which represents my life, that I'm given 998 pieces, right?
Okay.
And one of the pieces that would complete completion, of course, for me and you would be God. It would be some type of, but then the final piece would be a spouse for some people, because that would give you the completion. So if I'm seeking wholeness, even though I'm whole within myself, I'm healthy, but my wholeness almost goes to another level once I'm in the right relationship. Okay.
I agree, but that starts with that person being whole as well.
Absolutely. Okay. But it's an incomplete wholeness, though.
I understand what you're saying. Completely understand what you're saying.
I got you.
I'm just speaking of the aspect of people wanting something from somebody else to complete them.
Yeah, that's toxic.
And that's what I'm saying. A lot of people enter into marriage with that being the idea. And that leads to a lot of expectations that are misplaced. And that leads to a lot of failed situations. So the point here, whenever we do this conversation, and it's just a conversation, you know, everybody has an opinion or experience, and we can all draw from each other's experience. And I think the problem is that we're not talking about our experiences. So, Disco, if you could put the number up there in case somebody does want to chime in today, we definitely welcome you all participating in the conversation. So, 1, what do you have to say about people who want to use kids to make the situation complete?
Elaborate on that question a little bit. What do you mean? What do you mean?
So a lot of people have the relationship, and then they say maybe it's an okay relationship, not the greatest thing. Maybe it is the greatest thing, and they think that, well, once I get this child, that's the nail in the coffin. We'll be together forever, happy. We're connected forever. And some people look at children as a pawn to have that connection.
I got you.
So you have children.
I do.
You had children in a marriage.
Did.
I have a child. My child was not in the marriage. I've never been married. So, and I've never had the preconceived notion that a child would make a marriage happen or keep a marriage together. But from your experience of being married, what do you say about people who try to use children in that way?
I mean, everybody's situation is different. That's another thing. Disco and I were having this conversation prior to you coming in. And sometimes we talk about what is, and then sometimes we talk about what's supposed to be. I talk about what's supposed to be a lot of times because we already know what is. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, everybody's situation is not the same. My wife and I stayed together for the kids, and she probably stayed a lot longer than she wanted to for the kids' sake.
Okay.
Now, it might have cost us individually, but it definitely helped our children.
Okay.
Because it gave them a solid foundation for 16, my son for 18, 19 years of his life. My daughter was only 14, 15 at that time. But it gave them a solid foundation in the home. And I can tell the difference, you know, you can tell the difference in our house. Now, everybody's household is not the same, you know, but we were positive role models for them. We set goals for them. We didn't argue. We didn't fuss. We didn't do any of those things. We just grew apart over the years and we went our separate ways. But we put enough in our children to make sure they were solid. You know what I'm saying? And now, had we been toxic or arguing, a lot in front of them or any of those types of things, then I would not have suggested staying there. But we got along. We got along fine.
Okay, about how many years do you think you sacrificed for the kids?
I mean, I wouldn't call it a sacrifice because if she wouldn't have came upstairs and told me what she told me, we would probably still be married. So she might have sacrificed 3 or 4 extra years or 4 or 5 extra years. You know what I'm saying? So, so I wouldn't say I sacrificed anything. I'm cool with what happened. You know what I'm saying? So,
all right.
But yeah. You know if you brought her on the show, if she was willing to sit in this seat, this might be a different conversation.
Well,
different conversation.
We're open to her sitting in the seat.
She ain't coming, trust me. She ain't.
It's all good.
I get it.
She's painted very fairly here. Yeah. She seems like a very intelligent, a very loving, a very considerate person, woman, mother. So, for those who think that finances is the caveat for having a successful relationship, what you had money while you were married?
I've been on both ends of the spectrum while I was married. Yeah.
Right. Well, I've been on both ends of the spectrum in life, and so you still have to have that steady state.
You're right.
And that's an internal thing because the external can change all kinds of ways, up, down, all around.
No doubt.
It can have nothing to do with anything you're doing or not doing. So, for those who think that the money is the thing that's gonna make you happy, make the relationship stay strong, have this big house on the hill and the picket fence, and everybody can see your successful marriage. And not to say that doesn't equate to a successful marriage for some people. Some things are more important to one person than the other.
Absolutely.
So, but to those who have had it all, and all wasn't enough, what do you think needs to be said about money in marriage?
I think with respect to money in marriage, the key thing is that you grow together, regardless of where you know where you came in at the marriage, what you had. I think it's good when both of them didn't really have much growing in. Especially coming out of school, we didn't have much coming out. But when you grow together and just take that time to build. That's the key word, build together. So many times we build simultaneously while we're raising kids because we had a child the first year of the marriage and we did things a little out of order. And we're still, we haven't put together a savings account. We hadn't put together an emergency fund. We hadn't even got used to budgeting together. You know what I'm saying? And then we've put children in the situation, and then that kind of escalates because now you put these child care and education.
Childcare costs. So.
and your child is how old?
25.
Oh, so how much was it 25 years ago?
I think it was like probably starting off like babies, $100 a week maybe.
And mine at 17 years ago was 150, 200. So think of what it is now.
Right.
That's crazy. So when you start taking $200 a month, $200 a week. That's $800 a month on months that's not 5 weeks, right? Some people barely make $12 to $15. You know what I'm saying? So when you have that strain on a relationship, and then people are still young, and some of them still want to go here, and some want to go on vacation. The thing that hurt us, well, I ain't gonna say it hurt us because it helped us because we got scholarships. But growing up, my son, and Disco can probably speak to this, but my son was in travel baseball.
It costs.
And travel baseball, just the initial fee would be $2,300 to $3,000.
Absolutely.
Not to mention him going to get batting lessons every week, $70 a week, and not to mention infield lessons, and not to mention going out of town for tournaments and all those types of things. And then guess what? The girl got old enough to play softball, so those fees doubled. And so making those things work along with the mortgage and the car notes and all those types of things. And next thing you know, you start out living, you know, you're like outpacing what you're making. Yeah. You know, and then do you stop? Because, you know, I remember one time she said, well, we can't afford to do that. I said, we can't afford not to, because if he gets a scholarship, if he gets a scholarship and he's finished with his undergrad now, he's halfway through his master's.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, he's the one that deserves the congratulations. But yeah, I did do my part to help with that situation.
Absolutely.
So yeah, money is definitely a strain, especially especially people who had never had money and they don't know how to handle money.
What about the people who do have money and they kind of put money above all?
Well, as far as, do they try to hold it over the other person's head?
Some may and some may not, but that is the priority over the relationship. They're like, if you want this relationship is based off of the things that I can provide. And I provide these things with money. So the money comes first. I go to work first. You just sit there and wait until whenever I finish.
That was a real, your perspective of that is definitely from a woman's eyes.
Well, because I'm thinking from experience, because I know somebody living it right now. So it's not necessarily my perspective.
No reason I'm saying that.
But I know it exists because I'm talking to a person who I know closely who lives this. So they're like, I'm working and I'm bringing the money home.
Dudes do that?
What?
Dudes do that for real?
Bring the money home?
No, the one you just said as far as hold it since I have this amount of money, you have to do this kind of, they hold it over per se.
Oh yeah, they're like, don't stress me about going to dinner. Don't stress me about doing things as a couple, the relationship pertains, because I am upholding this relationship with this money. So you let me go to work, you let me do my job, and I'll get to you when I can, basically.
Wow. No, I couldn't even relate to anything like that.
Okay.
I couldn't, because when I thought of that, I thought about how people have standards as far as saying they wouldn't date or marry anyone who didn't make a certain amount of money. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's why I was thinking along, and that's all a whole new concept. I'm sorry.
Promoting them today.
The whole that's a whole new concept of that's new to me. You know, since I've.
So you think it's newer to the newer generations, as it pertains to old school, new school, as far as relationships and marriage go?
Oh, I think new school has definitely affected marriage. I think marriage has.
In what way?
I think marriage has a new lens on it. It's not as sacred as it used to be. It doesn't. It's if I don't like it, I'll get out. You know what I'm saying? People didn't get in back in the day. I don't think with the idea of with an exit door. You know what I'm saying? That to death do us part. I think that really meant something back then. But now, if they're challenged in any way, people get divorced quick.
They do. I think that people aren't built the same way, I suppose we can say it.
Absolutely.
To sustain any kind of turmoil in a relationship and governed relationship, such as marriage. They treat it as simple as a non-governed relationship.
Oh, yeah.
So that is kind of problematic in the way that marriage is seen as not such a sacred thing anymore. It's just something, I did it, I tried it, and I tried it for a week or two, and thank you, but no thank you.
even think about it, they even have common law marriage now. So you got people stay together, for 15, 20 years?
In some states, is Georgia a common law
I think
state?
Georgia's a common law
I'm
state.
not familiar if Georgia is a common law.
Google it right quick.
Sure, you can Google it. We love Google. But
we're not promoting it though, right?
No, not promoting it, but we do love it. So, yeah, I'm not sure about the common law status here. So I was actually speaking to a family member the other day, and I introduced them as a boyfriend and girlfriend. And the guy was like, hey, yo, that's my wife. And I was like, that's your girlfriend until you actually get married, because nobody recognizes, what comes with the perks of being married, unless you're really married. You know what I'm saying? So your estate and everything is going to be up in turmoil once you pass away or whatever. And that same person you talking about is your wife. She's going to have to jump through all kind of hoops to get affairs in order.
To make it official.
You got to make it official for things to be easier for that quote unquote wife. So it sounds like, well, what would be your advice to people who think like that? And I get what they're saying. They're like, I'm not under the man's command, so if we say it is, it is. I get it. But what do you have to say to a person who thinks
Well,
along those lines?
I couldn't relate to that. We got separate. I mean, we had a joint account from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and we put all of our money in the account. And we paid all the bills, and she spent what she wanted to spend. And I mean, we just had. I mean, but people have to have discipline. I think in the marriage counseling, there are provisions for budgeting and to teach you all those things. So you just kind of have to adhere to those things, and then once you make a plan, you stick to that plan.
I am over here laughing under my mask.
Why are you laughing at me? What I do
I'm
for?
not laughing at you. I'm actually laughing at Disco because I saw a hard nod no over there, and I don't know what it was for. So what was the hard nod for?
No, he said they share account.
But notice what he said. Notice what it said. I share account. I got my own fingerprints too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And she
Right.
ain't never spent she never spent a quarter out.
Okay, so what are you proposing should be
No,
what works
to each his
for
own.
what works
To each
in
his
your
own. In my first marriage, in my marriage now,
okay.
we agreed on who gonna take care of what. And
Mhm.
that's that.
Okay.
So ain't no same account, ain't no nothing. You got your money,
Uh-huh.
you handle what you gotta handle,
Uh-huh.
and whatever you do after that, your business.
Uh-huh.
Same thing here. That's it.
Okay. And what do you think about I know you work a lot. I actually work a lot, so I'm a workaholic. So I actually understand a person who says I gotta go to work. So I know you work a lot as well. You work a lot. So what is your position of when it comes to being married and having a heavy workload?
You gotta. Well, once I learned, I do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We designate a certain date
Okay.
just for us.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't have to do something, I try to, you know what I'm saying? Because I catch myself with the wife and the kids.
Okay.
Sometimes you can slip up as a man.
Mhm.
Made that mistake of thinking because I work a lot and pay money
Mhm.
into this that I'm being a wonderful father, but I lost some of my,
Yes.
I lost a child as far as the direction because I thought I was doing the right thing
Mm-hmm.
by being that provider. So you gotta just kind of balance your life out. Make sure you spend time and so I made that decision. I'm glad you asked. I coach football too.
Yes.
So what I did was I decided to coach my son this year. That way
You're spending time
I'm
with them
spending
as
time
well.
with him and I'm doing what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So and I never coached none of my kids before. I
Okay.
got 6 boys and coached none of them.
Mm-hmm.
He's my first one.
Nice.
So you gotta just balance it out.
Mm-hmm. And what do you have to say as far as the time money thing?
Just balance. It's like he said, it's balance. Obviously, I mean, I didn't do it right. Apparently, we're not still. No, I'm joking, but I'm not joking. Kind of
Right,
like
right, right.
LBVS,
It's-
laughing but very serious.
Yeah.
But
It's good to be able to have
yeah.
laughter and
Oh,
you
yeah.
learning, 20/20 hindsight is
yeah. Oh yeah, but no, you
perfect.
definitely should. I mean, definitely should set aside date night. And then
Mhm.
you got to have time for the kids. I worked a lot. I worked probably 50, 60 hours a week back then,
Mhm.
and I missed a lot of stuff. Because I was working on weekends. I would miss baseball tournaments. You know what I'm saying? Or if I was working at night, I would miss baseball games. And those were times, especially those trips on the road. Those were bonding times that
Yes.
I missed. You know what I'm saying? That I would have, number one, bonded with her, but also bonded even more so with my children. You know what I'm saying? I'm following. And then when they were on the road, I'm on the computer trying to follow his games instead of trying to sell another car. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even, they out of town and it ain't even worth it because I'm not making the money that I should be making while
Right.
they're out of town. You know what I'm saying?
Your
Because
focus is split.
focus was flipped. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, to answer your question, you would there has to be times that you would balance. For a healthy, because you got several different dynamics of a relationship. You got, our personal relationship, then our relationship with our kids, then
Right.
if we have friends, just all that stuff. Yes, sir.
And one more thing I think that hurt us is as men, and it's gonna be crazy, but it's
I'm
true.
listening.
It's true. When you have your own business, it's better for a relationship. Because when you work for somebody else, your wife want to go somewhere next week, you got to go through the approval of getting time off, the approval of being able to have a vacation, and sometimes it stirs away because they're not understanding it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
think it is. I want
Right.
to go to the Bahamas. I want to go to Mexico. I want to go on a cruise. But here you are, got to get permission.
Mm-hmm.
So if she
Emasculation.
if she worked for herself and you work for somebody else,
Yeah.
it causes some.
It could cause a little rift. But when you are starting a business, it's not necessarily financially possible to take the time to do a lot of things like Bahamas, but you can definitely take a drive and go to Tennessee and come on back. But go ahead.
But sometimes they want to get away.
Absolutely.
So I think when you talking what we talked about before about
Yes.
being on the same page,
Yeah.
if you got two people, I think have their self jobs, their
Mhm.
own business, it's beautiful.
It is. It is.
It's beautiful.
It is. So when it comes to, you got the beautiful relationship. A lot of people have partners, and it should be a partner if you're in a marriage. A lot of people have partners that they have a great friendship with.
Mm-hmm.
But then we have to focus on the other side of the friendship. We have to have a romantic relationship as well. So, of course, we have a lot of divorce and a lot of, I think mostly men would probably complain about the sex in a marriage. How important is the sex in a marriage?
See, there's nothing I work hard to get in trouble for. Like me, my schedule was I get up 4 in the morning at one job, work till 4 o'clock. I leave another job and go work from 5 to 10:30. So when I get home at 11 o'clock, you think I'm gonna touch it?
Right, you're trying to sleep to get up at 4 o'clock again.
Exactly. So, so all that stuff comes in play, and she may not say nothing.
Right.
But she got needs, I got needs, and then, and then now I'm thinking, okay, it's been weeks or months. She ain't saying nothing about nothing. You make you think as a man, like, okay.
Yeah.
You can go months.
No.
But he's just saying if you go for a little.
But if I'm tired,
I've done it. Why use me like I've done the months thing before? You know what I'm saying?
Then when that's what I'm saying about that 1 day, 2 day week is so important. You gotta take advantage of it. Like you stay home, but nah, bro, I'm good. I'm staying home tonight. You know you gotta make up for them going to bed every night.
Right.
When she
what you were saying is it can play on you mentally and emotionally
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, you wonder
because
what
you're like, right. If I'm not doing it, then maybe she's not saying anything because it's already handled. And then she may not be doing anything at all. And she may be just respecting the fact that you're tired, or she may just be, not wanting rejection. And could just be like, we'll just wait till it happens.
And that rejection piece you just talked about, whether it's indirect or direct, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes there are medical conditions that come up and all types of things that can affect the sex situation in a marriage. And it's so easy to fall into a rhythm. You look up weeks, months, not doing anything, and you hadn't done because you know what it does, the pain that, it might cause.
Oh my gosh, I cannot imagine weeks or months if I was married.
Gosh.
I can imagine it now because I'm single.
Yes.
But
I've been mine 17 years.
And it didn't stress me like that either because I knew the pain that came with it. You know what I'm saying?
So before the weeks or months things, what's a regular frequency for marriage?
Like 3-4 times a week.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like a morning and night. Like can't wait. But that's a long time ago.
I'm old now.
People don't realize, man, sex got a lot to do with your financial aspect and your
financial health. Yeah.
Both, because
we gotta feel good about ourselves.
We both worried about
bills.
We ain't think about no other stuff. We think
survival.
If our life is in order, we having sex more because we're not stressing. But for me personally, all due respect when I say this to you as a woman, if this head up here ain't right, that head up there don't even function. So if I'm worried about something,
that's a good point.
He can't even work.
That's a real good point.
He's not gonna come up with a fight.
Okay, I got you. So let's talk about those who respond the total opposite way. Say they have some kind of issues in the relationship, whether it be financial or other things, and then they step outside of the relationship to what is the word? Overcompensate. Thank you so much for whatever is lacking over here, which may have nothing to do with their partner at all.
If you got a wife, you got a partner, you step outside, that's just something you want to do. In period.
What you say, James?
Period.
They're definitely seeking validation because they might not feel validated at home because, like you said, if your ego is shot, because you're not doing what you want to do, but all of a sudden somebody tries to make you feed that ego what you're missing. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you go try to get that euphoria.
You're not in disco.
No, I'm saying because he's right.
You can go get that. I mean, if you need to feel euphoric for a moment, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, it's hard being a man, period, in this doggone world. And then when you feel not unemployed, but underemployed or undervalued, you know what I'm saying? You looking for something
to make you feel like more.
And sometimes you're not even looking for something, but then Hansel and Gretel, it just shows up and it presents itself in a certain way.
The law of attraction. I need it.
And what I understand is, I ain't gonna cuss on your show, but when you say a cuss word, not a cuss word.
Okay.
We got hoe in us too. Meaning we got a sensitive side too. We want to hear the baby look good.
Oh yes.
Baby.
Okay. So that validation.
Yeah, we want to hear that too. See, some people think that we the man, cause we the fighter, cause we the protector, cause we the provider.
Right.
Yeah, we don't want to hear that. So we don't hear that at home.
Somebody else talking about you looking good today in that hat. Look, you're like, oh, I am. I'm wearing a hat every day now.
They might not even say you look good. They might laugh at your jokes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or just anything at that particular moment. And it doesn't justify it
Yeah.
at all. No one is saying that. And then you got
a deficit for the need.
And that's not the only deficit. The other deficit is that there are 3 million more black women in the world than there are black men. So the pool is so much larger. We got options. Y'all don't have as many options as we have.
I got options.
I mean, you do, but look, I'm just saying, but numerically.
But yes, I do agree with what you're saying.
So you got somebody competing.
You are correct.
Yeah, so you got somebody competing for your dude all the time. And
even if your dude isn't competing, they want a man, period.
And watch this. And she's not competing to keep him. She feel like I already got him, so I'm good. I'm sorry, I already got him, so I'm good. But this is
the married woman is not feeling like she has to compete in any type of way
to keep him.
And so what you're saying, Disco, is that married woman need to stay on her toes with her compliments, with making sure.
Not just her, we both do.
Absolutely.
We both do.
It's mutual.
We both got to be each other's biggest fans.
Absolutely.
You got to, because any given day, because women are very, very emotional creatures.
Yes.
So any given day, she can have one day like, especially watching that crap on TV.
What crap are you referring to? We don't have to give a name, but what crap?
Reality show.
A reality TV.
So you never know what her mindset is. You know what I'm saying? So if a woman can sit there and get us all fixed up just for you.
Okay.
Get home from work. And you come home tired and act like she ain't do nothing, that can go a long way.
Oh yeah. Let me walk in and I know I'm looking good, and 10 people done told me I look good before I got there, and you say nothing?
Or do something to your hair. That's the mistake we make.
Yeah.
Y'all can cut y'all hair, and we don't say a word. But y'all work it, y'all heard everybody say it.
Yeah.
Promise you, I done heard stuff like that. I'm telling you, that's how you leave the window open.
Even us, we buy some new cologne to put it on.
Right.
And you ain't say, oh, man, that smells good. Everybody say,
oh, you smell good. Right. Missed it.
They competing to get your, because like I said, the pool is so much larger. And then sometimes a woman can get, and that's why I'm not big on arguing, because like you can't take words back.
No, you can't.
And so if you resent me for something we said and you hold on to that for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 days or 7 a week or 2 months, you know what I'm saying? At what breaking point? You know what I'm saying? That's why I'd rather say, hey, let's talk about this in 5 minutes when we both calm, and let's talk about this a different way. You know what I'm saying?
So it's good that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because that is another common issue in marriage, the communication. So there are people who feel like nothing ever needs to be talked about it. Once it's over, it's over. What's the truth of that?
You definitely need to talk about it, but when it's over, it should be over. We need to talk about it.
Okay.
But when we talk about it, let's get it on the table. And it might not be right now. The same problem at 9 o'clock might be more solvable at 9:10.
Right. I think that for me, I work, I'm going to let you speak in one moment, Disco. I think with me, I work with a better understanding if I know we have a set aside time to go ahead and deal with it. I don't want to force you into conversation when you're overly emotional or angry or things like that, but it shouldn't take you 5 days to get angry and unemotional. So I'm thinking like a 30-minute window. Go ahead and take your breather, whatever you got to do. We can sit down and hash it out. What do you say, Disco?
If you know your partner, I know my partner.
Okay.
So I know if I know something that I'm getting ready to bring to the table ain't gonna change our mind, ain't gonna bend the surface no bit, we ain't talking about it. Period. It ain't not today, not tomorrow, not next week, never.
What if she's saying we need to talk about it?
No, if it comes from her,
okay.
So we know each other.
Okay.
So if my wife headstrong, I'm headstrong. So we both know what ain't gonna change. Now, if it do something that to affect our livelihood in our household,
yes,
we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But it got to be at that right time because we both emotional.
Exactly.
But if you know your partner, like old man told me back in the days, pick your battles. And now I know what he means.
I agree with that.
Best words ever.
Yeah.
I know what he means. Because if it ain't going to,
I agree with that. You do have to pick your battle. Some people want to pick at every little situation that comes about.
Yes.
And that means they're in turmoil every day. Because And not only that, I think it develops a sense of walking on eggshells because you don't know what's going to
Not doing it.
transpire every day, but you know something is going to transpire, and something in you may be pushed down from being who you really are, trying to preserve whatever peace you think you might have before things blow up. So, what did you think of this go?
When you said about when you said about something could come up, you tell them I'm gonna give you 30 minutes and this that. Now that ain't me.
Okay.
If something come up, like we be somewhere and let's say I see you looking at somebody,
Okay.
I'm not gonna wait till we get in the car.
Yeah. No. Not at all.
So even if, like I said, anything I know that's gonna eat at me,
Mhm.
I got to say I don't care what your mood is.
Yeah.
If it's eating me inside, it can be bills, it can be where you been, it can be what you put on, whatever it may be. I'm going to address it right then. I'm not waiting no 30 minutes.
Well, I'm a person who likes to address issues as they come up,
Oh.
but everybody doesn't come from that background of being able to communicate. So you have to sometimes give people an opportunity to get their self together to be able to talk without
So we can be married,
screaming.
Kat. We can be married. Because I don't care about you communicating. If you did something that pissed me off, I'm going to let you know if you communicate or not. That's what you.
I agree with you.
No, she on your side.
Okay.
She's saying
I agree with you.
we couldn't be married.
I just
But we couldn't be
so you
married no way.
understand. Right. I just understand that everybody doesn't come from a background of
Okay,
open
great.
communication.
No.
Yeah, but for me, I'm real obviously open with communication. And there's nothing that we shouldn't be able to talk about, and there's nothing that we have to definitely agree on, but everything is open for discussion. So, and especially if I feel violated or disrespected in any kind of way, I am not the one to sit there and let you keep doing it. Yeah, no, because somebody's liable. You know, 20 years ago, you might get hit or something.
Huh?
Promise
Not
you.
you.
Oh, okay.
That's 20 years ago. That's like the
You
20s.
bust windows out of the car.
Not the sweetie, Caddy.
You
That's
bust
the-
windows out of the car.
That's the 20 something years ago. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like
That's
it.
the 20s. So when people try to judge women in their 20s, they like, oh, they doing all kind of crazy stuff. I would never. I'm like, oh, honey, I understand. You know, just you got to grow up a little more, get control of your emotions, study self-control. Look, study self-control. Like it took me some years of studying self-control to stop blowing up. You know what I'm saying?
You got it now?
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. So this guy's looking like, oh, don't try too hard now.
You can get rid of it, but it's going to always be there a little bit in there. That'll come out.
Man, please.
That's why I be like, don't make it come out.
Yeah, it'll come out. Still enough.
I don't know. Yeah, that's the key. I don't see.
Don't
Don't nobody want to sit here and make you upset anyway. I mean, I don't.
Right.
It don't
But
make
see,
sense.
some people do live their lives in that particular way where they do want to make their spouse upset. It's the only way that they feel like they can interact. Right. Exactly.
But
So go ahead. What were you saying?
you remember the girl that called in the other night?
Yeah.
She seemed like she was going into her relationship expecting for there to be problems. And so with that preconceived notion, she's sitting here waiting. There it is. You know what I'm saying?
She's looking for the problem.
Yeah. So if you go in looking for a problem, 9 times out of 10, you're going to find it.
Well, that just depends on the background that we come from. Everybody comes from different backgrounds, and that makes us who we are today. So she may have witnessed some things, or even
So how's she
lived
ever
through
gonna,
some
how's she
things.
ever gonna make it?
That comes back to what we started off talking about, that internal thing that you have to put you at that steady state. It
Okay.
has nothing to
She
do
sound
with
like one of
anyone
the
else.
conversations my grandma told us, you seeking, you shall find.
Yeah.
So basically, if you look
Yeah,
at
if
something,
you're
it's gonna
looking-
make something.
Because you put it out there in the universe and you attract it, and the universe brings it back to you. It's the law of attraction. So if you're seeking positivity comes in response. If you're seeking negativity comes in response.
I agree with that.
So yeah. So sex is real important. I think that's
Oh.
how we started talking about all of this. Okay, so what about keeping ourselves up appearance wise? Because we have a lot of issues that come about. They like, oh, she changed or he changed. They ain't looking like the stallion they was looking like before. They ain't looking like
He hit it. He hit
Diesel.
on the point. He
What's
said
that?
They get comfortable.
Get comfortable?
They get comfortable. They feel like they got them. That's that. I ain't not a lot of women do that. A lot of men do that.
Okay.
You get married and 10 years go by, 15 years go by. Everybody just started.
Looking
Okay.
a little bit
Yeah,
off.
I got them now, but
No.
I take pride in me.
I think
Take pride.
that's what it boils down to, or has to. I think it's always going to come back to that individual perception of how you see yourself, how you love yourself, and if you don't have all of that going on for yourself first,
Not gonna work.
they can't make you want to look good. They can't. It has to be something internal in you where you're doing it for self-love to make you want to stay on your looking good and on your business and on everything.
But society say everybody look good now, though.
Society lies.
Society give out participation trophies and all.
They do.
So,
They do.
so I'm telling you, got people. Man, you got
They
people.
do.
You got
I
people
agree.
now, man. That's no, I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna say. Go ahead. What you saying, ma'am?
Say it in a kind way. You can say it though. If
think
it's
I-
the truth, we can say it.
I can say it. Everything ain't for everybody to put on. I'm gonna say
Yes, that's a good way of saying it.
Okay.
everything ain't for everybody to put on.
Okay.
But you get that with the society we live in, the person can put something on that don't belong on her, and it's gonna be somebody still blow that horn and her walk.
And if you say something about her, you
If
judge
it
it.
floats your boat, then it floats your boat. I mean, there's someone for everyone, and I think that regardless of what the outer package looks like, I think the bottom line is, are you healthy? And healthy comes from self-love. That's the bottom line piece. I know some people, if you know me personally or know me from the past, you know my background is in fitness. So this is like what I went to school for. So I'm very passionate about health. So it doesn't matter if a person is of a bigger stature, they can still be healthy. It doesn't matter if you're skinny, you can still be overly fat. So the bottom line is, are you healthy? Showing yourself self-love where your inside looks as good as you want people to think that outside looks.
I agree with that.
Okay, and there's gonna be somebody who likes anybody. There's somebody for everybody. Well, somebody's trash is somebody else's treasure. So it's not all about the aesthetics of what the
Shouldn't be.
outside looks
Definitely
like.
should.
But I know, no, for some people it is
I
now.
know.
Because I know people who can't date ugly people. I can date ugly people. God bless me with these eyes that can see past it.
You can.
But I definitely can. I definitely can. But I know other people who say nope, never. Nope, never. They need something they can roll over and look at it and be like, ah.
Yeah.
You know, they taking the little breath out. But
You know, it's funny because T.I. made a comment. He said
what was the comment?
on his podcast, he said, don't no woman want a man nobody else don't want.
No, nobody want nothing nobody else don't want. I don't want no food nobody else don't want. If that restaurant is always empty, ain't nobody ever in line of, I don't want it.
So my point was when she go out with her man and see a lot of female looking
Yep.
at it makes
I can see that.
Yeah, I dated a guy once, and I ended up using his computer, and on his computer it was open to his Facebook, so I saw some messages he was sending inappropriately to other people, right? So he was trying to fly somebody in, and they didn't even want to go. I was like, nah, I don't want to be with the person. They don't even want to come. You know? Like, what? I'm not going to be with the person nobody else wants. What is wrong with
He was
you?
offering a free ticket to Atlanta and they wouldn't take it.
It wasn't even
Okay,
Atlanta,
okay.
but it doesn't matter.
But
But the point is, you are absolutely right. I'm like, I don't even want to be with you. They don't even want you, and you're trying to do wrong. And I don't how I get with you, and now nobody wants you.
That's a good. Wow.
It was over that day. It's like, yeah, it was wrong. No, they don't even want you. Look.
yeah. And you think about it, it's like, wow, that's
deep.
That's a deep statement.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, nobody wants something nobody else wants. Like, look good. Like, be presentable. Represent me in some kind of way. But I'll be like, they with me. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. That's why I'm laughing because I just saw her doing it like for real.
You saw me doing it?
Yeah.
What I do?
You just did it right then. I just saw you in another
That
setting
was
doing
me?
that. Yeah.
Okay.
I saw it.
That's why I
Yeah.
go to comedy shows. I kind of love comedy shows.
Okay.
Us black folks, when you go to comedy show, you put on our best.
Uh-huh.
And the dudes walking up, they girls, and they be like, okay, this is mine.
Oh, that's mine.
check,
Yeah.
check it out.
Mm-hmm.
You got on that tight.
And they want you to check it.
Yeah,
You check it because she with me.
Yeah.
And she leaving with me.
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and women, we want to be the same way about our guy. So y'all out there thinking y'all don't have to get your hair cut, trim your nails, and wear clean tennis shoes or
See,
whatever
y'all
shoes.
slick with it. What y'all do is
What we do?
y'all slick. Y'all let your man go drift off somewhere by himself, right?
Uh-huh.
And y'all see everybody looking at him, and y'all get out the chair. You go hug him around the shoulder.
That's what happened at the show.
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
just hold his hand. Don't do it all the time. We go to programs, you don't hold my hand.
Uh.
You know what I'm saying? But now we go to a comedy show.
Okay.
I'm drifting to the right.
So they need to hold your hand in other places too.
I don't gotta do it. Period. I be laughing. I'm just laughing.
Uh-huh. Because you see the
y'all
territorial
get a
side.
taste of your man. Y'all
Somebody else want him.
But let me just walk over there just to remind you, this is my bed. Let me get
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think men like when women do that too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, don't act like you don't like it.
No, I know. I said, I was saying,
You know you want us to show
I wasn't
show
saying
our
that I
PDA.
don't like it. I was saying that y'all moves a little different.
Okay.
Y'all let her drift on purpose.
Yeah,
the
so we
women
can
can
come
check
and
it out, then you just
snatch it back.
Yeah, snatch it back.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, go look somewhere else, honey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's mine.
Exactly.
Okay, so what do you all think about public displays of affection and just affection in general when it comes to keeping the glue together for marriage?
I ain't one with that matching clothes stuff. That's crazy.
I date someone who likes the clothes. I don't mind. Hey, if I got on a gray shirt and black pants and he wants to put on a gray shirt and black pants,
I'm
then
his
we-
and I'm hers, that type of shirt.
No, not necessarily that, but same colors.
Now we
Like,
can
I
coordinate.
don't
We can
mind.
definitely coordinate.
Yeah, a coordinator.
Coordinate.
That's what it is. A coordinator. Yes. You and Disco, go and get that matching T-shirt and stop fighting. Like, stop fighting.
You don't
with
like
Philly.
coordinate at all? I ain't saying wearing matching T-shirts where you pointing like one arrow pointing at you. I'm his.
That's mine.
That's called.
Family Feud or something. That's what you got to be matching all the time. Now we ain't doing all that. Now you
Bro, you put that outfit on I bought you a hoodie.
Yeah. But if I got on a black blue suit and a red tie and she put on a red shirt and red dress, then sometimes I've gone on dates before and the person I ain't even planning for this to wear the same thing and it just happened.
That's different. You don't plan for that. You take it off. But we ain't gonna be in trouble with green and red and put on blue. You not man. We ain't doing that. You have to put the same color on. I ain't gonna say take it off.
Well,
Go in there.
I would just say that I don't mind.
Before you
He
get
said, I don't mind.
Yeah, I gotta put the pre-plan.
Lay the clothes out on the bed. Make sure.
I'm not letting a chick dressing me.
I seen a dude on social media. His girl, he had he was with his girl.
Okay.
He had a picture of a shirt with all her face, all the shirt.
Oh, here's
She bought that shirt. She bought that
A
shirt.
bunch of faces of her.
She's narcissistic.
Nah.
She bought that shirt.
not.
She bought that shirt and told him to wear it.
He loves his boo boo.
He loved her enough to wear that shirt. That's what it is. He didn't want to wear it.
He got some trouble. That's what it was. He did some,
Okay, let's talk about the trouble. Glad you brought it up. So, all
I didn't even do that.
Yeah, why did you do that, man?
right. So, is it possible for married people, men and women, and let's speak for men first, to get over infidelity in the marriage?
Go ahead, Jake. That's on you, baby.
Why has it got to be on me?
Yes, sir.
To get over her doing it?
Yeah.
Everything's possible. It'd be tough. It'd be real tough because I'm sure it's hard for her to get over him doing it too. So everything's tough. It would take a lot, like you said, work. It would take a lot of work.
What kind of work? Because
Counseling.
I was just about to say that. A lot of times women want to do the counseling and they want to get everything laid
It
out
won't
on
be
the
enough.
table. But men are really opposed to that in the history of the people I know who've
Well-
gone through it. They don't want to give the details of the ladies need the details. They want to know the ABC through Z. And the man is like, you don't need to know all of that. And they're like, this is the only way we're going to get through it if I have all the answers to my questions. So what do you have to say?
You definitely gonna need some. You're gonna need more than counseling though.
What
You're gonna
you
need counseling. You're gonna need some mentors. And you
So
probably need
what,
some
bail
bail.
money?
Probably gonna need some bail
What you need
money.
bail money for, Disco?
She gonna hurt you.
Because I ain't with all that.
Oh no, you said we catch you cheating.
Yeah. We're starting. Can the man get over a woman having an outside relationship?
We seem to be, and it's a myth, and I think it's true. We take it harder
We do.
because the fact that for a man to know that a man actually penetrated you
Yeah.
and to caress you, for us mentally that messes us up. Versus us doing it, to y'all. It didn't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? But women get emotional.
So it didn't mean anything when you performed the act, is what you're
Yeah,
saying?
from a man, that's what we think about. You know what I'm saying? But when y'all do it, we
Y'all
think
It's the connection.
Y'all, yeah, you ain't gonna give it just to anybody.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, now they will, but back then they would.
So it's not fair because
I'm not gonna let that comment slide either.
It's double standard, so it should be the same thing. But I think we take it harder because to visualize the fact that somebody, a man is just performing on you and doing stuff to you, and you might
Whole circus,
yeah,
baby.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Hit somebody, yeah.
It messes up.
Okay.
It would.
So you have something to add before I go on?
No, go ahead.
So what is the deal when a baby gets involved from an outside situation. So let's talk about the women first. A woman gets pregnant by her little side thing. Can we recover?
I ain't fooling with you.
I doubt it. It would have to be an act of God, for real. That'd be tough. And I know it's a double standard like a mug.
I was just about to say, so let's flip it.
The difference is that she's in the house with her husband and the baby's there. If he has a baby on the outside, the baby at least is not a constant reminder in the house every day for the wife to see.
Okay, so can we recover if the man has an outside baby in a marriage?
Well, we've been doing it for a long time. It's not justification, but we have people have done it for years. And back in the day, they did it more, so they do now. They out of here, coach. They get out of here. But long time ago, yeah, they did it.
DISCO, what you say?
No, I ain't say nothing. I ain't got nothing for that. I ain't got no.
It ain't no right or wrong answer in that one. But because everybody's different.
Well, I have people who say that, and guys would pretty much give this response, I believe. If a guy has an outside child, the woman will never be able to get over it. She's always going to throw it up in your face. So you might as well just go on and keep it pushing. Even if you're able to stay and sustain something, it's always going to be something in the back of their mind that's thinking you're doing something or just reminding them of what you did, and it's going to be thrown in your face. That's what I hear from a lot of men.
Yep.
So they like, I don't care how hard you're going to try, how hard you're going to do everything she wants you to do, how hard you're going to go at this counseling and be open and transparent. It's here and it's never going away, so you might as well just go on and try again with somebody else. What do you think?
I've seen it both ways.
What's the other one?
I've seen it where they didn't bring it up. You know what I mean? I've seen it where
Oh, so you saw that they were actually able to be healed in the situation.
They might not have been healed, but they just didn't bring it up. They might have suppressed it for years. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever reason, but they went on. Because your question was, when you say get over it,
I mean, have a healthy marriage afterwards.
Well, yeah, the healthy marriage part is gonna be it's gonna be trouble. I don't think. No, if that's the case, no.
Have a healthy marriage.
No,
I'm leaving.
no,
She ain't never
no. The marriage won't ever be healthy again. I mean, it'll be very, 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 very. It'll be a very, very small percentage.
Yeah. Joint custody and.
No.
Right, the baby's always showing up. The mother of the other child wants to be involved. She's jealous of what you got going on in your real family.
I wouldn't recommend.
And not to say that the child is their fault or they should have to pay the prices that they pay.
Just reality.
Yeah.
Life dealt that deck of cards.
But what about the side people who want the whole relationship after something that happens, and they think that they have a right?
They dug their bed. I mean, they slept. Yeah, they dug their bed.
That's two problems. Right?
Okay.
The first problem is a lot of these side pieces, cats don't tell them what the rules is from the very beginning.
So it's on the man for not putting them in place.
They'll make them think they're leaving the wife.
They do.
Or they make them think the relationship ain't gonna last, so they give these women hope. And they put them in that position that these women are ready for something to go wrong.
I agree with that.
So once they get pregnant, they feel like, okay, that baby,
that's gonna seal it.
That's gonna seal it because it's gonna go wrong at the crib. So now he said,
it's already wrong at the crib, according to what the guy has been saying.
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly.
So not correct. Good point. So now when they had a baby, that's a wrap. And then you tell her, no, I ain't going nowhere. Oh, she finna lose her mind. Versus, it ain't a right way to have a side piece, but versus you saying, look, this what you gonna be out, this what you gonna be, and that's gonna be it. And if you can accept that, accept it. If not, keep it moving. That's what these dudes mess up at. They love the side piece more than they love their wife or their main chick.
Oh wow,
that's deep.
That's horrible.
I done seen dudes at my job want to fight somebody at my job
about
a side piece at the job,
and they got a wife at home. It's funny that you say that. Somebody else said that happened recently in a job place as well, and they're very married, but they're in a dispute over the side piece.
Yes.
And not that. Okay, so how common is the side piece situation? We're in our last few minutes. There's so much more. We can go.
Yeah.
Okay. So how common is this side piece situation? Because marriage, like we said, it's not as sacred as it was once was. So I don't think that everybody cheats. However, a lot of people do. So how common is this side piece situation from your experience, your friends, or whoever you may know, from a male perspective and the female perspective? Because females cheat too.
First of all, from male perspective, it ain't always sex. So
Mhm.
basically, some of us have side pieces, just more of a conversation,
Mhm.
more somebody to talk
But do
to.
you feel that's still cheating though?
No.
I feel it is. But go ahead.
If you ain't talking about nothing sacred, I mean, if you telling me good morning, making my day go because I'm not getting in the crib, then call it what you want to call it.
But that's the
So-
door opening for the rest of you.
Again, like I told you before,
Yeah.
if you don't put the boundaries in place, you gotta put the rules out there from the very beginning.
Well, people will
Yeah.
start and say that I can abide by those
Again.
rules, but they just want their foot in the door so
Nah,
they can kick it open.
That's his fault.
Okay.
That's whoever fault. it
And
is.
let's just clarify, we're not talking about you particularly,
No,
because
but I-
somebody's
I-
gonna be like, "DISCO100."
No, I've been not done that.
Okay, so you're speaking from experience.
I had a good relationship, and
Mhm.
then I had other pieces on the side. But when
Mhm.
I had that, they knew.
Stay in the lane.
Stay in your lane. Don't
Mhm.
confront me. Don't call my phone. You ain't getting in my car. This is what you're gonna be.
Mhm.
Period.
Mhm.
From the very conversation. You can
Mhm.
deal with it, and we lost a minute conversation. Or you know what I'm saying? Or you gotta put. When I was doing that
Okay, I
stuff,
have a question.
go ahead.
When you promoting everybody today,
Everybody.
so when you have the side piece situation, do you think that they enter with the thought of being more?
Yes, because a lot of these dudes, I got homeboy of mine that lie to them. They don't tell them what
Mhm.
the overall goal is.
So it's not their fault in
No,
particular.
they sell it. They'll say, I'm having an argument with her. I can't get along with her. I think I'm leaving next month. They put that
Yes.
hope in their mind.
Oh, I've had someone do it to me, so I
that's
know
what
for
happens. You know what
sure.
I'm saying? Look,
Yeah.
my relationship good at the crib. Look here. It's good at the crib. I love her. She love me. I just want to tip and tap every now and then.
What's the tip and tap?
Outside. That's it.
Tip and tap, like physical or
Yeah,
just?
everything.
Oh, okay.
So-
Whatever can fall under tip and tap.
Instead
Okay.
of them saying that, you know what, man? I don't want to go home today. Oh, I don't want this. So you give that person hope that she's
So
the
they
savior.
thinking that the household situation is
It's already
terrible
gone.
when it's not.
So when they come back 6 months later and say, oh, you know what? Now we worked it out. Or she gonna lose her mind.
Yes.
Because you had her on that edge thinking
Uh-huh.
he gonna call me, he moving in next week. He
Yeah.
coming in. What they got?
And then, so what do you say about people who put their lives on hold for someone who they think?
They stupid.
I agree with that.
Yeah, a married person is a married person. What does the post say? If you separated, you're married. If you it say all kind of
I don't
stuff. But
understand
unless
how
you're
women-
divorced, you're
What I
still married.
understand both sides. How can you trust
Right. Somebody who
who
stepped
cheated
out.
Cheated
on
with.
him with you? What's that when he messed with
Right.
you?
Exactly.
So you coming in with
I
a
agree.
wall already built, like because the
Oh,
same
yeah.
thing he told her to be with you.
He
So
tells
every time
somebody
he
else.
tell you that, you thinking he doing the same thing with somebody else.
Even if he's not. It's like, I know you because this is how we came to be. So the
Not a good
odds are,
foundation.
yeah, it could be this all over again. And now I'm the stupid looking one. So I don't want to be the stupid looking one.
You know the rule is for real though, man. You get side pieces, get you the cougars. Cougars don't be bothered with you no way. Cougars,
You just have way too much information on this side piece. Dude.
listen, cougars
I'm listening.
they don't be bothered with you. They done live their life. Nobody around
What's the
them.
official age of cougars?
I ain't putting that out there. You
Okay.
get no trouble with that.
Yeah, you
But
gonna
the
get in trouble
cougars-
with that.
They like, look, come here, do what you do, and go on back
I'm
home. I
cool
don't
with
be
that, too.
bothered with you, period.
Well, let's just say a good 20 years over is a
20 years older
hmm
than I?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. No.
Nah.
Not that old.
When,
I'm 48.
For our ages, listen.
I'm
For
48.
our
listening.
ages, I'm saying,
I want to hear.
For our ages, just somebody who been there, done it.
Okay. Because
It
not
ain't no- It
68.
ain't no age for us.
Oh, okay.
A female who been there, done it, don't be bothered with no man.
Okay.
That's what you want.
Okay.
That was true.
That's what you decide.
Okay, so those who are looking to get married and stay married, do not listen to
Do listen to
Disco
show.
right now.
You see me looking tired? You see my eyes going like this? I'm like, where's the
He's
popcorn?
like, I got all the information.
I'm thinking about that Michael Jackson meme when he eat the popcorn.
I was
The
Yeah.
comments.
I was out there.
Okay.
The past of me
Mhm.
was out there.
Yeah.
Out there.
Well, that's what we want to hear from. We want to hear from people who can give us real
I've been
information
there, done all
so that we can learn from it.
Yeah, that was my rule of thumb. I always
Yeah.
messed with somebody back in the days that didn't want to be with me.
Uh-huh.
She didn't want to.
Or they had something to lose.
Yeah, she didn't want to have maintenance man.
What do you mean have
Back then
something
we
to
called it
lose?
the maintenance man.
Yeah.
That's all she wanted.
Like, I know married people that
Handling
will only
plumbing.
mess with married people. You know what I'm
I
saying?
guess.
I know.
I know people who do that because they want somebody that has as much to lose as they do.
Oh. That's true. That's true.
Like,
So it's funny.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
But I'm just saying, I know people who
I
do
agree.
it. Though.
But I knew of someone who had somebody who was aggressively trying to damage their household.
Wow.
They were married. The person was married, and she was trying to damage the household of the other person. And then I was like, well, I don't know why you think your household will have to be the only one disrupted.
Mess hers up too.
Right. So as soon as she started reaching out on the other side, it stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you're right. If they think they have something to lose, then they won't be as aggressive with trying to wreck your house. What they go through?
A month ago, he was messing with. He got somebody. She got somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And her feelings got involved.
Mm-hmm.
So she hit up his wife on social media.
Oh wow. Okay,
so he hit up
her husband.
Mm-hmm. So let's go back to getting and staying married. Can you survive those situations when there's blatant cheating and the other person is coming up in your face?
Nah, it's I think what happens is it's more of they're content with it till they find a way out. They may not react on the right then, but they're getting out of the picture.
They're getting an exit strategy together. What you think, James?
Yeah, one something.
Can we come back from some stuff? Like everything, obviously, we can't come back from it.
Like you said, how you was raised.
It goes back to
if you're a very spiritual person, because back you like you said, for me knowing you, like I know you back in your other shows.
Yeah.
You said before the older generation, they dealt with all that.
Yeah.
They like my grandma. I know my granddad was a Rolling Stone, but my grandma was a very biblical person.
Yeah.
She prayed about it. She forgave him everything he did. So it all depends on how you was raised. Nowadays, 21.
Well, I think it went back to provision back then too, because we had to depend on people to take care of us in our household, and we thinking about our children as well. So we're not just jumping up and leaving and going in the streets.
Correct.
Because they got their own stuff going on in this house over here. It's already 10 people over there, and they got uncle whoever who already rolling, and they got to deal with their own stuff.
Too much
So
leverage.
yeah. So and men had that leverage back then more so because they were the means of support.
Exactly.
So to go back to what you were saying about people staying back then, sometimes they had to, even if it was an unhealthy situation. And nowadays, when we see red flags, then we leave. So with that being said, some red flags I think are seen before we actually go into a marriage. And people overlook some red flags thinking that they see potential or that they can fix a person. What is your advice or words of wisdom when it comes to that?
It's the old saying: if a person shows you who they are, believe them. As we enter too many times thinking that we can mold or make somebody into who we want them to be instead of just letting them be who they are, and they're much better. I'm much better at being me than who you need me to be, who you want me to be. You know what I'm saying? So if people start trying to send that representative or a false part of themselves, trying to be who you want them to be, that they're not being their authentic selves anyway. So, and that authenticity is what's attractive. Typically is what's attractive. But
see, that point is you gotta try to find that quick as you can. Sometimes.
Oh, that's true.
Sometimes it's too late because then you start overlooking it.
Because well, you mean like once you get emotionally involved?
Yeah. And you got kids, you got
family,
Yeah. Y'all got so much history together. Like, you know what? You hoping that it's
gonna change
because now you deep in.
So how do you find out? You have a questionnaire? What you mean? What you?
Well, I think people show you things, and we overlook them for a lot of the times. And I think that it's because women, for one, are taught to hope for the best. We're taught that if we are good women, then we'll attract a good man. And unfortunately, sometimes not so good men are attracted to good women because they know that they will be able to play over them per se, and they will have some sense of wanting to work it out, wanting to fix the situation. That was the 20s me. The 40s me is not that person. And I think that comes from seeing people stay in situations, and when you're growing up, and they may not say that whatever is going on, but even as a child, you kind of sense some things, and you never know what you're sensing, but it wasn't a great situation. And so you go into some people go into situations that aren't great situations and be like, well, maybe it can turn into this, or maybe, we can at least last, or, we're gonna have
Especially when you pick up a lot of pieces.
along the way.
Cause I got like for instance, I'm a granddaddy of 5.
Okay. All right, Papa.
I got a wife. I got 6 boys. I
Mm-hmm.
got 5 grandkids. So it ain't just me
Right.
leaving you.
Right.
Yep.
Now I'm leaving all that. So it's
Mhm.
harder for me to want to leave that quick because I
Right.
got so much
Too many other people affected.
and that's going to be
It's
affected.
right. That's all your investment too. So, what is your advice for women in particular, speaking as a man, when it comes to them thinking that they can change someone?
I think a lot of women, and I notice this on TV, so many women just stuck on the word husband.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care what their husband reflects, as long as they can tell somebody they got one.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of women out there who buy husbands now.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you mean? I know what you mean, but what do you mean?
Like they're the provider, they're the this, they're
Mhm.
everything, just so they can tell somebody
They got a
husband.
man.
So the husband word don't have the same value
Mm-hmm.
Marriage,
these
though.
days. It don't mean the same.
So, what was the value of a husband prior to this day and age?
You
Do you
stated
think
yourself. We was the provider. We was the
protector?
protector. We
Mhm.
was this. And not saying nothing wrong for a woman to make more money than you, but
Right.
it wasn't that much leverage.
Yeah.
It was a whole lot of leverage back then. It ain't none now. Now
Mm-hmm.
women making more than the man. So it done for whatever reason it sounds crazy. It done switched up. You got so many women right now that's they the provider and the man the one staying at home not doing nothing, and she got leverage on him now because she taking so much pride to go to work and say my husband, my husband, my husband. But she ain't saying what her husband do. She's satisfied saying the word my husband.
Well, I think that there definitely can be some exceptions in the structures of a household. But I understand exactly what you're saying with the role reversal nowadays. However, I believe that some of that has come into play because men have said that they don't want to have to go and pay for a dinner. Starts right there. We can go Dutch, or you take care of me sometimes, or so that's what this generation is doing now. It's very prevalent where men aren't taking that role like you're saying that they did back then. Like I know they did back then, and
Took it way off. I never.
Oh,
knew
it
that.
exists.
So married couples so men do Dutch with women still? See that? I mean, do that stuff today?
Well, I don't know if they're describing them as desperate.
No, they
But-
doing that stuff.
He said Dutch. He didn't say desperate. He said Dutch.
Oh, men don't even want to go out unless they're seeing what you're going to do for them.
Where are these men? I never see these type of men.
Well, they don't approach me, but I know enough from hearing from women, and hearing women also say that they don't mind doing those things either. Like,
Because a lot of them use it. You know,
so
you
go
gonna
ahead.
throw something at me. I swear to God.
I'm not going to throw anything, I promise.
There's so many women these days, and I'm gonna say this real slow.
Okay.
They would rather have a man that don't work
Okay.
than work
Why do you say that?
because the leverage, the insecurity, the control factor. They want to use all that
For
stuff.
some people, maybe.
I know.
I guarantee it's
I
not.
did-
I don't think it will be for the majority. I think it exists.
A lot of my homeboys to this day
Mhm.
sit on their ass.
Do not curse on
Place
this
that I
show.
did.
He didn't
I
curse?
spelled it.
Look, James got your back.
You know what I'm
He
saying?
cursed.
Yeah.
I was watching.
Okay.
I'm saying,
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to make a point though.
I understand.
And these women are so
That-
happy that they got the quote unquote husband who ain't doing nothing.
I'm doing
But you got the
another.
ones who working 3-4 jobs.
Yeah. The
They
man
busting they behind.
and nobody going.
Thank you.
Really?
That's what it's so many different dynamics because like that scenario that you just quoted about
Okay.
men taking women and going Dutch. None of my friends would ever do that. You know what I'm saying? I would never.
I would never do that.
I would never imagine doing that. And whenever I go out with anyone else, I don't want them, to pay. I mean, I went
But
out
that's
to,
where it starts with the man not being the head, and then you wonder why.
or the woman
nobody-
thinking that she's the woman that thinking she's the
Because
head.
they want to be the head.
But,
man.
I mean, 'cause-
Control factor.
yeah.
No, I think it starts from a man shifting down their position. They
Well-
don't want the responsibility that comes with being the man.
Okay.
So now the women
You know
have
what?
taken it
Some-
on.
Some of us can't please them. Like I'm
That may be the case for
like, I'm
some.
the type of guy that, and for instance, if I'm married to you right now,
Okay.
and I'm
We
fixing
married.
if I'm fixing something in my house, you stand
Mhm.
behind me, I'm dropping every tool in my hand, and I'm walking away. You can fix it. A lot of you women will not let the man.
That's agreed. I agree with you.
About, babe, I'm going to get a towel for the car. Oh, go here, go. No. Okay, I tell you what, you go do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what these women just want to be the everything.
I think they've been groomed by society
There
at
you
this
go.
point to, and not just by the men in society from stepping down to
No.
give them that go ahead and you do it then.
But
Matter
it's
of fact, lady across the hall, right? No lie. Other day she said,
Uh-huh.
Disco, I got a flat tire in my pocket there.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, okay. She said, do you know how to change the tire? And I took offense to that, like, I'm a grown man. Like,
Of course, I know how to change your tire.
She said, no, my baby daddy, you don't know how to change. Huh?
She's absolutely right. He may not.
I said, we doing this, we doing these days.
We are.
Man can't change the tire.
dude, this.
Mhm.
You said that you
Yes.
you said men have stepped down in
But-
their role. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead and I'll speak after.
You say that men have stepped down in their role. I don't think it's that men. That's an effect. Society has emasculated men to the
I was
point that
going
they
to
have
say.
gone down into that role, and at the same time of emasculating men, they've propelled women in the
That's
position where men used to be. If you look at it societally and economically,
Mhm.
so many African American men went to prison in the last 20 years that took black men out of society. Those were
Yes.
uncles, those were fathers, those were brothers, those were
That was going to be my next
those
point.
were men. And so women had to assume those positions.
Yes.
So when they assume that position of being the head of the household, they're not trying to be a man, they're just being the head because they've been thrust in that position.
Mhm.
And so when another man comes into the picture and you got somebody who's used to being the head, now who's more head at this point?
Right.
And it's an
I
automatic
agree.
competition, automatically, even
So what-
subliminally.
I know she can ready to say probably go ahead. When you,
No, I was going to say I agree with that position. It does exist. However, we have, because of that predisposition in our communities, we have women who are raising the men who may not be able to teach them those skills of being a man. And because we have that void of a man to teach a man how to be a man, now we have men who don't know how to be a man, nor do they desire to be a man. They desire to be like the example that they've had in front of them,
Exactly.
which is a woman.
And that affects probably men from 35 to 37 on down. If you really look at it.
And what were you going to say?
no,
Jason?
I knew you were gonna say that. I was gonna
Mhm.
keep that what you said.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna come in.
Mhm.
I'm like, no,
35.
The 35,
I think about 30.
the 80s when they started.
Yeah, somewhere
Yeah.
around that range. Yep, somewhere.
Okay. So, I mean, there's so much to talk about when
Yeah.
it comes to getting and staying married. It's a lot of dynamics.
Hopefully we'll get it
in
right. One of us.
Well, we have to start
Years.
having these conversations.
You 17 years in, you got it.
He working on it every day.
Yeah,
That's what we're
baby.
saying. Is you got to work on it.
Yes, that's
And we have good discussions about that kind of stuff. Just the little small intricate things.
What
You know
I
what I'm
learned,
saying?
what I learned is, man, over my years, the biggest thing I learned is knowing when I got sex with my wife.
Mhm.
Okay.
I got to really focus on when her body language is telling me, baby, we gotta talk, or baby, I need this, baby.
Mhm.
So we don't really talk that much. I can tell by her body language.
When you
Yeah,
need to,
it's
though.
When I need to say,
time.
okay, baby, what's going on?
Mhm.
See, because when if I'm going,
Right.
it's all of that.
Mhm.
Right.
Like, matter of fact, they were talking about COVID-19 divorced a lot of people. I see why.
Mhm.
Because now you stuck.
Yep.
But I learned my wife more
During
through
COVID.
COVID-19
Mhm.
because now I'm home with her all day long.
Yeah, a lot of people are with people they don't like.
Yeah, well, mine don't like me neither, but she loves me.
That's another point, because a lot of times people are moving based on their feelings, and a marriage has to be based on more than just a feeling, because that feeling will change with
I'm being
different
funny.
scenarios.
I mean, like, she love me, but I know her, she know me. Period.
Yeah. Okay, so final words. What's your advice for somebody thinking about getting married and they think they found the right one, and they're thinking about going for it? How do they know they found the right one?
You said you answered your own question.
What?
They can't think.
That's good.
Okay.
One.
They can't think. You
Uh-huh.
said they think. That's what they messing up right there.
Okay, so if you have any shadow of a doubt, it ain't it.
You gotta know that that's your part. You gotta. I tell old man told me this, and I never. Again, you get older, you remember the old sayings.
Yes.
Look at their parents.
Yeah, now that's good.
Look at her mother. Look at his daddy.
That makes a
Look
good
at his
difference.
uncles. Look at his aunties. It's gonna. Okay, he may act like this, but that's the environment he's raised on.
Yeah. So if
Or
it
she was
comes,
raised on.
but I know people who come from
Yeah,
dysfunctional
you right,
places.
not all the time.
Right. I was going to ask you,
You
do
gotta take a
you
law
think that
advantage.
there are exceptions? I always think there's an exception to everything.
It always is,
If you
yeah.
hear me talk, there's always an exception. There are some norms, but there are always exceptions.
But
to
my
the
advice
norm.
would be
But
no. But my advice would be for somebody to get married.
yeah.
Know what you want.
Mhm.
Know what you want. Don't make that person to what you're trying to be. Know what you want in a husband, and know what you want in a wife. If you don't know, you gonna marry the next thing come around. Know what you want.
Mhm.
And I ain't talking about the glamorous. Everybody's so stuck on the big weddings and the big
Mhm.
cars, big houses, and it'll be the most not all most depressed marriages in the world.
And that's what I was getting to earlier. I think we kind of skipped over that when we were talking about the money situation, how people think that money is the end all be all. If we got money, we can make anything happen. We happy. And as you stated, there are many situations where money is in abundance and the happiness in a household is not. Marriage is not. Because they put the spotlight on the thing that shines.
They want approval from society.
Yeah. So yeah, outside the house, it looks like everything is great. Inside the house, it's a whole hellhole.
Yeah.
So, it happens a lot. So don't get sucked into the image situation. A lot of people do that to themselves. If you're chasing somebody down just because they got the bag, they got the house, they got the car, they got the status, then that may not be what's necessary to sustain a happy marriage.
Absolutely.
So
you know what's funny about that? It's like when these women chase, it ain't that's his money.
Oh, absolutely.
That ain't your money.
Yeah.
That's his.
Yeah. I don't get excited about any money at all. I get excited about deeds with my name on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
grown woman stuff.
yeah, that can really get me excited.
Yeah.
Look, however, whatever land you own that you still paying on,
Yeah.
that you want me to come in and help you pay on, it ain't exciting for me. So, go ahead, James. Your advice for someone?
My advice would be someone to establish a firm foundation, and once you establish a foundation, be willing to grow from there. And when you grow, the key thing about men, it's interesting when they make roses, they put a box around them so they can control the growth.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should put a box around your marriage so that only you and your wife can, or your spouse can grow in that box.
Mm-hmm.
And as y'all grow together.
Mm-hmm.
And you might get wild sometimes, but you realize you got the box.
Yeah, some people got no box and they got everything and anything
and they grow
in their
wild.
life.
But boxes present boundaries. You know what I'm saying? And you don't cross those boundaries.
That's a topic for a whole nother show because.
But those are subliminal boundaries. I'm not talking about giving nobody rules like that. But you understand?
No. Yeah, but some people need to give themselves some rules.
That's true too.
You just still doing the same stuff you were doing when you were 20 and open to any and everybody being in your life. When you have a marriage, then it's time for you to say, I cleave to this marriage.
Exactly.
I'm not all with the homeboys.
Walls keep people out and keep people in.
Exactly.
So that's a good thing about walls. Yeah.
All right, so I'm not married, so I don't have any advice. Just make sure you do your due diligence. Take your time. Do not be in a rush for the wrong thing. That's why I tell people I'm not married. I'm not in a rush for the wrong thing. It'll be good when it's supposed to be here and be good. Okay. So tell us how we can follow you. What you got going on, James?
I do the Intellectual Stew on Monday nights at 9:30 p.m. on Disco Radio. That's 8:30 Central Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're on for an hour. Tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about the importance of clear communication. So come to DISCO100 Radio at 9:30 tomorrow night and check us out.
All right, Disco, how we follow you? What you got going on?
I got everything going on, but DISCO100 Radio, YouTube 7 days a week from 5 till 10 o'clock.
All right. Sounds good. Of course, I'm Catherine Yancey. You can follow me online at Catherine Yancey or Miss mz.K.A.D.Y. I'll be here on Sundays 2 p.m. If you'd like to be on the show, hit me up. Right now we're focusing on the topics getting and staying married, and also I'm sorry that happened to you, and that's a conversation around abuse. So we'll be talking about that next week, and I'll see you here on Disco 100 Radio next Sunday. This is K.A.D.Y Live.